Welcome to this week's edition of SKNIS Week in Review, where we recap major government released activities for the past week. I am your presenter, Raheem Berry. Highlights for the week of June 26th to August 1st, 2019. Historic amendments to the Drug Act passed in the National Assembly. Attorney General endorses first legal step in updating Drugs Act. Prime Minister Harris promotes alternative career opportunities in the police force, and SKNIS looks to embark on a vital solar project. After little more than a day of insightful presentations, the Drug Prevention and Abatement of the Misuse and Abuse of Drugs Amendment Bill 2019 had its third reading and was successfully passed in the National Assembly on Wednesday, July 31st, 2019. Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, was the mover of the bill. While wrapping up the debate, Prime Minister Harris stated that the government is attempting to significantly transform the landscape within which cannabis, marijuana, is being decriminalized.
We will, through our legislative enactments, rehabilitate the lives of hundreds of our young people by expunging their records, where such a record was a consequence of punishment sentenced on them for being in breach of the laws on the cultivation and possession of marijuana. For some of them, the rehabilitation, if you will, of their records will represent a genuine fresh start. A fresh start to a new job, a fresh start to new opportunities, a fresh start to a US visit, a fresh start to be a better example to a daughter or a son, a family member and a friend. A fresh start, of course, to becoming a new creation and a brand new man or young woman.
The historic legislative amendments are geared towards the establishment of a marijuana industry and regulate the use of marijuana cannabis for medicinal and scientific, religious and recreational purposes in the Federation. Meanwhile, the Honorable Vincent Byron Jr., Attorney General and Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs, has endorsed the first legal step in updating the Drugs Prevention and Abatement of the Misuse and Abuse of Drugs Amendment Bill during the sitting of Parliament on Tuesday, July 30th.
Mr. Speaker, this bill before the National Assembly is intended to usher in what is anticipated would be a new approach to possession of small amounts of cannabis. We recognize, Mr. Speaker, that what is now being proposed represents a significant paradigm shift from the traditional attitudes to the use of cannabis within our society.
The Attorney General said that the changes are reflective of the 21st century's perspectives. Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, told the Federal Parliament that there are currently 43 vacancies within the force. Several of the vacant posts do not fit the conventional thinking of some of the persons about what it means to be a police officer. One of the areas where skills in technology are needed is in the area of closed-circuit television, or CCTV. 345 surveillance cameras were recently mounted in Bastille and surrounding communities under Phase 1 of the Citizen Safety Program undertaken by the government.
As we invest in our forensic lab, which we built out over in Tabernacle, costing us $92 million or thereabout. We see the need for people with a particular scientific proficiency to come to fill vacancies in the police force. As we develop a new strategic arm of intelligence gathering, we see the need for persons with a broad array of skill set to come and to be part of our policing force.
The Prime Minister urged citizens and residents to give law enforcement due consideration when choosing a career path, noting that the traditional role of a police officer has evolved to become more multifaceted. The St. Kitts Electricity Company Limited, SKNIS, is set to embark on a vital solar project as part of its renewable energy thrust, according to Minister with Responsibility for Energy, the Honourable Ian Patches-Lyman, during the sit-in of Parliament on July 30th.
This solar project, Mr. Speaker, is not only important to the future development of our country, but is the potential lifesaver of the financial security of SKNIS. It will avoid fuel costs, Mr. Speaker, and the expected fuel avoidance costs from the installation of this solar farm will not only be beneficial to the energy demand of this federation, but is potentially the only viable option, Mr. Speaker, at this time to keep SKNIS afloat moving forward.
Minister Lyman added that there are several other initiatives on the horizon. The Department of Labour hosted an orientation workshop for 21 persons from St. Kitts and Nevis who will be spending the next 2 years in Canada under the Canada-Caribbean Seasonal Agriculture Workers Program.
The government of St. Kitts and Nevis is desirous of increasing the numbers of our citizens in the program. And your success, if you make a success of it, if you show that you are a good worker from St. Kitts and Nevis, chances are it's going to be a good testimony for other workers yet not recruited. So you have a responsibility to other persons as well.
26 persons in total from St. Kitts and Nevis are participating in this year's Canada-Caribbean Seasonal Agriculture Workers Program. The local government is exploring opportunities to facilitate females interested in the seasonal work program. The Embassy of the Republic of Argentina, in collaboration with the Food and Agriculture Organization, partnered with local agencies and organizations in St. Kitts and Nevis to build capacity in the area of fish silage production and utilization through a workshop held at NEMA's headquarters from July 29th-30th of 2019. Randy Elliott from the Department of Agriculture Nevis said that the purpose for this project is to see how feasible it is for the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis to make food using waste from fish for livestock.
Our farmers spend quite a bit on feed, and also our consumers spend quite a bit on purchasing pork, eggs, and meat. We do believe that once we're able to mesh this project and able to offer a cheaper source of feed for our farmers, our consumers would then be able to reap the benefit of this project.
Fish silage, as defined by the Food and Agriculture Organization, is defined as a liquid product made from the whole fish or parts from the fish. It usually consists of minced fish, byproducts of minced whole fish not suitable for human consumption. The silage can be fed directly to animals, such as pigs, and if it does not meet the quality for feed purposes, then it can be used as fertilizer. And finally, the Ross University Veterinary School of Medicine, in partnership with the animal care community groups, opened the first animal rescue center in the Federation, the Bastille Animal Rescue Center, back on July 30th.
Indeed, animal activists can be proud and can boast about an undertaking such as this that would help to bridge the gap of disharmony between human and animals.
The first building includes an examination room, reception area, and pavilion that will be used to host community programs. A second building, opening later this year, will house kennels and an additional examination room. And this is this week's edition of SKNIS Week in Review. See you next week.